Welcome, AfterBuzzers. You are watching the AfterShow for Altered Carbon, episodes 7 and 8, where tonight we talk about a family reunion, a murder mystery solved, and rekindled love. Stay tuned for more.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Welcome, Carbonites. We are back. We're talking about two very chock-full episodes of just great substance and meat. Again, my name is Shaka Smith. I'm joined by my lovely co-host here.
What's up, guys? Nate Miller.
Evan Mack.
Krista, Flentje.
Wow, finally, I wouldn't say finally, we've had so much action, but we finally got some real reveals this time, some really great backstory from these rich characters. I loved episode 7, what they call Nora Inu, Stray Dog, and I guess we really see Kovacs as a stray dog in this, kind of moving flashback. What did you guys think about this flashback episode in general?
It was I think it was one of the. It's like so much emotion, so much action, so much drama, all rolled in one. You like start finding like the layers that Takeshi. You know what I mean? There's so many layers. You start seeing the bond between him and his sister and how strong it is, and how they've been affected by it. And then you start seeing the movement, which is kind of cool too.
Yeah, I like how Takeshi's a totally different person when he's in that sleeve. Than you can just tell he's more reserved and he kind of wears his emotions more when he's back during with Quest and all them, so it's cool seeing him how he changes and varies per sleeve.
I loved it. It was a lot of plot progression and a lot of explanation and exposition that we haven't got of. A lot of this show so far has been just a lot of teasers. Here's this, here's that, but we're not going to tell you a lot about it. So it was cool to get essentially a whole episode dedicated to answers about Kovacs and where he comes from, and most importantly, his sister too, since we got that huge drop last week going into this now. It made sense to just go right into it because there was a lot to explain.
Yeah, and we see that Kovacs has really always had this sort of, he was born in this violent past. First it was abusive, and then obviously he kind of took matters into his own hand.
Right.
Well, what did you guys think of that reveal that he was the one that killed his father?
I don't remember what episode it was. Oh, whenever he was talking with Bancrofts and kind of thinking it was his son and then realized it wasn't, and he made the comment where he was like, yeah, you have to have a lot of hate in your heart. So I was like, oh wow, he was totally inferencing this.
Yeah, he infers that he knows personally what it takes to kill your own father, and he says that Isaac doesn't have it. Yeah.
And I thought it was interesting that based on that action, it kind of started his whole journey with, that kind of led him down the path that he was. The guy saw something in him, you know what I mean? It's like, I'll take care of your sister. And all these things were connected based on, him taking out his father, which I believe he should have done.
Yeah, and we got that very interesting scene with young Kovacs and Jaeger, and him and Jaeger kind of making this deal to keep Ray safe. What did you guys think about that? We talked about some of the moral implications, because we find out in this scene that he's going to be, I guess the next day, put into an adult body, and they're going to train him for whatever many years. What are the moral implications of that? We talked about anything from pedophilia to bestiality to you can consent to being put in these different bodies, and especially with a child, and putting them in an adult body to train as a violent killer. Did you guys have any ideas about some of those issues?
I think a lot of the themes in this show have to do with the separation of the mind and the body, and that you are the consciousness and the body is not you. And so following with that theme, it makes sense for a lot of the characters to approach these type of moral situations with that philosophy. It's not about the body or what the sleeve is. It's about who's on the inside, which makes some of those things that are taboo, air quotes, okay. But it's a very interesting dynamic to see played out, because that's something that we could only really theorize of what it would be like. So we're seeing a real live in action of how that would play out in reality. Yeah,
and it's interesting. It's also that he even though we get that glimpse, he's never really had a childhood. He's losing his sister. He's really essentially growing up inside of an adult. He still had the mind of a young man, though. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I think that's a very interesting dynamic. You can be an adult, but if your consciousness is a child, you're still a child.
Yeah.
I feel his version of childhood is a lot different than others. So at that point he was already a little more mature.
Because of what he had done, what he had seen.
Is what I'm thinking.
That makes sense.
At that point I feel like he was already kind of well, at this point.
That makes sense.
I've seen a
Yeah,
lot.
but now it's like he gets thrown into this whole, I guess, training program.
Yeah.
And so I guess just timeline wise, he's training in these different adult sleeves, and now they're gonna put him back in the original sleeve. But did they clone him, or did they keep him in stasis and grow him slowly?
They just
I think they just keep the sleeve in stasis.
It could.
I'm sure they made like some modifications to
'Cause
the sleeve.
I wonder.
There's
Yeah.
got to be more of a story, because we see that when he gets into that body, back into his original body, he sees scars and he seems perplexed, but they never addressed it. Or did they address it? Did I miss
mean,
that?
I guess the implication then is that they kept his body in storage, but then they used it when
For,
they
like,
needed to.
Somebody was using that
Added it to
sleeve.
the
Oh, absolutely.
reserves. So
Yeah.
somebody was wearing it at some point.
And it's like, I want to know more about that. Hopefully they give us some of that,
Yeah,
because
I
that was like
agree.
a moment where you're like, wait.
He shouldn't have all these wounds on him.
Because it looked like he had some questions, but he was like, I don't have time for that right now.
Yeah.
And I guess the sleeve's been through some stuff, because he was like, this sleeve looks a little worn, right?
Seriously.
But one of my favorite scenes, obviously, is when they get to, when he sees his sister and they reconnect and they rekindle.
Yeah.
What I thought was so interesting is in that one moment, they both go against both SeaTac and the Yakuza, which
Right.
they are both at that time pretty loyal to. And it was just on a look.
Instantaneous.
What do you think of that connection?
That's my favorite part of the episode.
Yeah.
That it wasn't even, they didn't even discuss it.
Yeah.
She betrayed something that was someone she's been with forever, and that was like he was just kicking it with them 5 seconds ago, and like it was like a light switch.
Yeah.
Like family over everything.
Absolutely, they like literally drove that point home. It is family over everything.
That scene was
Yeah.
also the entire fight scene. They
Jeez.
just annihilated everyone.
Yeah.
She's like grabbing the gun off his hip and like, I'm out of ammo. All right, take your gun, bro. And it was, I loved it.
It was a good scene.
Yeah, I mean, and these two were born in violence and then
Yeah.
continue to train in
Yeah.
violence, so it's no surprise.
Absolutely.
Though, for me, just kind of jumping ahead a little bit, we had that fight scene with the sister and Ortega, and I'm like, the sister's got to be a way better fighter. How
That's
is
what
she?
I thought,
Yeah.
but she held her own. So.
I guess.
Ortega has super arm.
Ortega's
Yeah,
got some
she's
skill.
superhuman.
I don't know, man. Her sister's pretty lit, man. She's pretty strong.
She also had a gun.
That's true.
Yeah, right. That might have had something to do with it. Yeah, she took a couple out real
Yeah.
quick. But back to the flashback. So we get also that story of the envoys. I love them in the forest and
Yeah.
having that kind of brother sisterly moment, and then getting discovered by the envoys and getting trained. That somehow Kovacs, he internalized it in family and finding that group.
Absolutely.
But Ray never did. What did you guys think about that whole? How he was able to embrace him and she wasn't able to?
Did he embrace it, or was he just in love with Kelcrest?
Yeah.
But also he was mentioning, he's like, this is our family, this is my family. I feel he felt something like I just
Before
heard.
even feeling for
Yeah.
Clawcrest,
Yeah,
I
it
felt
might be just like a thing of belonging for him.
Oh, absolutely.
Too, yeah.
He's been like walking around like he never thought connected to them. He was he stayed with them to save his sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think he's sitting around, they're all in the forest and he's hanging out. He's like, this is the first kind of like normality I've ever had.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was. Of course, that didn't help. That didn't hurt that he fell in love with old girl. But I'm just saying, when you're looking around and you're not worried about someone trying to kill you every 5 seconds, you know what I mean? You can just sit and chill
Yeah.
and have a laugh for 5 seconds.
Yeah.
I think he really took that to heart.
Yeah, and I think obviously with SeaTac, even though they've been his family, it was always about a mission.
Well, of course.
And to this, even though they have their own mission, it seemed a lot more, I guess, less regimented. So he probably felt more like,
Yeah.
I have family here.
I agree.
Sister wasn't down with it because I feel like she's always had her trust issues are a little bit deeper,
Yeah.
and I think this is the means to an end.
Yeah.
I'm waiting.
I
to
also
escape.
think she has a lot of jealousy issues. Like no matter
Yeah.
who he's with, as we've seen
Yeah.
in both of these episodes, she's like not
Seriously.
having
Well,
it.
and because she's been
You
constantly.
think it's something else?
I mean, I don't think you're wrong, but I don't think that she's wrong either. I
No,
think
but-
I don't buy into this whole family thing. Like, yeah, I'm sure it was nice and convenient for him, but he fell for her like right away. And no, they
Yeah.
weren't romantically involved right away, but he,
I did
I've
think
been in
it
that
was, like,
situation where I
short-term, yeah.
I liked the girl, and so I started hanging out with her and her friends, and they became my friends because
Wait.
I wanted to get close to
Yeah.
her.
Wait, but he was with the envoys for years.
Yeah, but
They had said they were there for years.
Right, but she was the leader of them for
Wasn't
years.
it like the first
Yeah.
night they spent together that next day? Had it been going on before that? Because I was like, how fast did he fall in love
She's
with
the
her?
reason why they joined the envoys, and he stopped being a SeaTac officer. Well, he was running away.
Wait. Who's the reason he joined the envoys? The sister.
The sister.
He
Yeah,
joined the envoy
to keep
because
them
of Ray to
safe.
keep them safe.
Keep her safe. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's the only reason why.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's the only. Like he didn't want to join up with them. He's like, my sister's gonna be safe.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, she'll be fine. He goes like, I guess I'll hang out with you guys for a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, but he didn't want to go. He wanted to be left. He was like incarcerated for goodness sake. You know what I mean?
I just don't think she ever drank the Kool-Aid like he did.
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
Oh, clearly
I
no.
agree.
But I think she was kind of right. I think that they, after that technology was out there, like they were on a suicide mission. They were never going to be able to stop the DHF stuff from happening,
Yeah.
really, and they were fighting for nothing, dying for nothing. And so I think
That part
in
of
that
it,
regard
yeah.
of her doing what she
Yeah.
did in order to protect her brother, because that's like family over everything,
Oh, no,
like
I'm
we
with
saw
you on that.
already.
Yeah.
But is Kovacs wrong for believing in something though?
And
No,
is he
he's not wrong. He's not wrong.
He had like belief in
Right.
like this mission, suicide mission or not. He was ready to die.
Yeah.
I just think I think the jealousy is there, but I think it's not so much like he can't be with anyone as much as this is just another woman that's going to drag my brother down,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Chris
yeah.
did. And there's a reason why she believes that, not just because
I think
no one can have my brother's
I
attention.
think there's a little bit of jealousy though, because she is the only female in his life, and she's felt abandoned. And then to find out, okay, I wasn't abandoned. He really thought I was safe.
Yeah.
But now there's almost a second
Like
abandonment
already,
now
like he's
because
already
like I
leaving.
just got him back, and
Yeah.
so I feel like she was going through a second death
Definitely
for her.
a combination, if not of
And,
things.
and,
yeah.
and
A little bit of both.
and you want to really see that's another backstory. They could do a lot
Yeah.
of spin-offs on this one because I'd love to see how she was raised with the Yakuza. Because apparently she was raised in terms of I don't know exactly the respectful, because they sold her in a respectful way
Yeah.
to the Yakuza, so she had respect, but I'm sure it wasn't sort of this idyllic, you know,
No.
upbringing.
She wasn't adopted by, you know,
like some
great
loving family.
people.
It's interesting stuff.
But then we get that reveal from Chris Falconer that who she really is. I thought that was so interesting, and I thought it really grounded the story because it made a lot more sense for me. What do you guys think about that?
That was a twist. I mean, it makes sense of why she's so gung ho and like this is such an important thing to her because she's the person that created it. But I was not expecting it.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was good that she's taking responsibility for action, willing to say that I had a good idea. Humans do what they do, you know, and they turn a beautiful thing into a power struggle or and things like that. And I think that she's taking responsibility for her actions and ready to die for it.
Do we think 100 years is enough time?
For me?
Not for people that are not having to deal with that in like however many years. Could you imagine like having this unlimited time span and then someone being like, hey,
no.
Yeah. Like I mean, I was gonna say at least make it 200. So
Yeah.
I feel like you
Like, damn, girl, 100?
And are you resetting the clock? Like if I'm 90, like you know,
Yeah.
Back to
like can you not just give me 10? Like
we started over.
Yeah, I had some questions about it because I was like, wait a minute, 100's a little short.
like for us it's fine, but these people are gonna be like, wait, what?
Yeah.
You seen them looking around though. They were like, okay, hold on, that's 100 years. They're like, they're like
And the stack gets implanted when you're born, and so I guess you can outlive your stack, right? So the stack just self-destruct, but you could still,
I
if you're in
think
your original
the stack's
body.
gone, you're gone. Like that's your.
'Cause it's
You
not-
are the stack.
Yeah.
But it's not fair if you would have naturally lived to 110.
I'm not feeling
You know what I'm
that.
saying?
Yeah. What if you would have had like 110 up in you?
Yeah.
115? You never know.
Yeah, you can't just, like, it's not right.
You know, it's a good question.
It posed some interesting issues for me. But we get Kovacs on that last mission, and he's getting captured, and he's back into this VR territory. Well, I guess not back into because this is the first time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What do you guys think about this whole scene?
No, it's back because I mean it's back to the one that he was in when he was a kid.
The original.
Yeah, but he's not. I was thinking back in the VR torture with demons.
not that one.
A
no.
different
Not that
one,
one.
Which is
different one.
another thing that is revealed is that
Yeah.
that's her company.
Oh, yeah.
Unbelievable.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Unbelievable. That blew my mind.
And for as much power, we have to get into this a little bit. As much power she has, like it seems like she could have accomplished this a little bit easier, right?
You'd
Right.
think.
Yeah.
But I think that, you know, is it just another one of her character traits that we're seeing
Yeah.
exhibited through her actions? Is
Yeah.
that she's literally willing to do anything.
And she likes the
And-
dramatics a bit, I think. So that's
Yeah.
fun for her.
Well, it's just that she doesn't have a line, and
Yeah.
a lot of people, even these high powerful meths, like have lines that they won't cross, and
Yeah.
she's like, "Oh, I'll do it. I don't care."
Yeah, seriously.
She uses that to her advantage. But the reveal of seeing all of the the different sleeves that she had been using
My
and stuff.
goodness.
Yes.
Oh man.
My
Like, what-
she had been there the
that-
whole-
And also,
she had been there
like,
the
the
whole
little
time.
girl,
Yeah.
why was that necessary?
Unbelievable.
What do you mean? Why was
I
that
know what it was
necessary?
for at the end, but
Right. At the time.
in her coming to the museum, what was like
Absolutely.
just
Yeah.
to
Just
be like, hey,
Check on old bro.
yeah,
Maybe, yeah, check his mental state. Like, where are you at with now?
that's
You see
true.
the history.
Like I get it at the end why it's important,
Yeah.
but when she first
Unbelievable.
shows up and she's like, I'm just rich, so it's fine.
Yeah, and then she's a woman putting the cortical
snake.
thing in the snake.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought that was amazing. We really see her kind of wielding her power, but it didn't make sense to me that she had such a disregard for like Chris Falconer in his life. Because at that point, she's lived a normal life. Like so at that point, she seems to have no regard for human life, and sees it, I guess, the way she talks about his current friends now. But
Yeah.
I didn't see how she got to that point.
Well, but Kelchrist is sending her and her brother on these, potentially dangerous missions
Right.
for a cause that she thinks is pointless, for
And
a
she
war
doesn't
that's
believe him.
they've already lost.
Yeah.
So that's her motivation. Is why are we gonna go out on these missions where I could possibly lose my brother to die for some stupid reason? Or I can make a deal with these guys
And kill
and guarantee, right? I mean,
Yeah.
sure
But
they have to
what
die.
a heck of a deal, right?
Right, but this is why this is just really good writing. This is great character development because the whole, as we know now, all of this show happens because of this choice.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
of her and what she does
Absolutely.
to get him back. She
Yeah.
will literally do
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
And so you see that from that example, she will kill all those people that she
Yeah.
if it gets her and her brother safe
She'll
in a
do it.
safe life, she'll do it.
Which is scary as
It is scary.
her brother, because you think, will I
Yeah.
ever be able to live my own life and make independent choices, given that every
Well,
choice
now
I've
he's
made
thinking it,
has
yeah.
been predicated on this.
Such
Yeah.
an interesting character
Yeah.
arc because
Yeah.
he's still his sister and he loves her, but
Oh, he's
she's
obsessed with this. He
She's
loves her.
crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you see him kind of realize that. Like, he's just like, what do I do?
It's like that. It's where you're running through the list of possibilities, and like you've run through them all, and then you pull out that special file of things that couldn't possibly be true, and then you start running through that,
She
and
checks
you're
off,
like,
yeah.
yeah.
"Oh my God, it's my sister!"
Absolutely.
It's, like, even Hemingway. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
how great was-
Yeah.
And I remember thinking when I saw Hemingway's character, I was like, they're having to weave a lot more story into this. And I guess
Yeah.
they don't, because they got to
Right.
cut and be like, it's actually her.
Yeah, just that hint of when they're in the VR and he's talking to Hemingway and you
Yeah.
get the Kovacs, is that you? And like
Yeah.
when I rewatched that the second time, I was like, and there's, I mean, I don't know if it's
So
maybe,
that's how I didn't even think about
Yeah,
that.
because it was him.
I'm telling you, you got to rewatch the show.
Because then Lizzie, we can go back to Lizzie, and
Yep.
she's able to recognize the mom. So I guess something about
Yeah.
VR and like people's true selves
Yeah.
is very recognizable. Oh, it's crazy. But before we go on to the next episode, we're going to talk about that reveal. But we're going to talk about a little bit of conversations with Maria Menounos.
Yes, we are. So, want to have fun, learn, and grow in all areas of your life? For those who do, we have got the podcast for you. Conversations with Maria Menounos, podcast edition, is hosted by our AfterBuzz TV founder and drops every Friday on iTunes. Conversations with Maria Menounos features celebrity and influencer interviews along with secrets and tips on how to be better in all aspects of your life. From health and wellness to career, relationships, finances, and more, let our Maria be the big sister you've always wanted. Just go to iTunes and subscribe to Conversations with Maria Menounos for free. Be sure to rate and comment, and when you do, let Maria know it was us that sent you there. Conversations with Maria Menounos, podcast edition. Check it out.
Yeah, and she's like the big sister that's not like Raylene, who's not
Yes.
going to demand you
Only
watch the
good
podcast at all.
Goodness gracious.
Won't kill
My
anybody.
God.
He goes hard, man.
She goes
Maria goes hard, just not Raylene hard. That's insane.
No, two
Not
different.
violent hard.
Oh, man. Yeah, so in episode 2, we really get the full reveal that Raylene is behind everything. And now she's demanded that her brother close the case. Do we even know why she's made this demand? Because I still didn't.
We do not.
We have no idea.
I think it's just because she doesn't want. I mean, he's the most powerful meth at this point. Like, he could still do.
Come on, Krista.
I mean, right?
Come on, Krista.
Yeah, I'd want it closed.
Come on, Krista. Why does she want the case closed?
Well,
she's guilty.
Or does she want
That's
to?
exactly, and I mean,
Well-
but she thinks she's indestructible too.
But how is she guilty?
She.
We gonna find.
Well,
I mean, yeah, it's
some-
too
obviously
it's
something
a
to do with
twisty-
Miriam.
Yeah.
And that's probably the one thing that I think I was annoyed by this. It's like, we get it, Miriam's somehow involved, but they kept like, like we get it. Like, you don't have to come, she kept having these moments of like, oh, quickly, close the case.
Yeah.
Case. I get what you're trying to show us here, but you don't have to beat a dead horse, you know?
Also, some of us haven't finished it yet.
Yeah. I'm trying to go along as we do our after
wait,
shows.
wait, yeah. Who finished it?
This fine gentleman here.
Yeah.
I still
Have you
the last
finished it?
two.
No.
Okay,
I'm
I still have the
literally
last
going-
two.
No.
I
Yeah, I got
haven't
the last
seen
two.
it.
I've been going along with us, so we can.
Oh, okay.
It's like fresh. It's fresh.
So you're gonna have to watch, you know.
He's rewatching though. He's finding little nuances every time he rewatches.
He's more
like-
versed than
he's
at the
finding
mirror.
little
He's seen it
nuggets.
twice.
I'm just saying, just ask yourself
Why?
questions. Why?
I am. I'm asking
Well,
a lot
yeah,
of questions.
that's all I'm doing. I pause. I'm like, why?
I ask Google. I ask questions.
We're still working on it. Yes, but so he's got to close the case, and now Kovacs has to really hatch an entire complete plan to do so.
Yes.
Everything from including Poe, including Vernon. We get a little bit of everything, but I guess let's just go in order. I guess with Poe, I thought that was. I mean, Poe quickly turns on his AI buddies. What do you guys think of that?
He didn't like them.
Well, yeah.
He never
To begin
has. They
with.
were always
He
rude
was
to him.
waiting for a reason.
Absolutely.
I agree, but to me, it's like that's you. That's like my species. You know what I'm saying?
He still feels like he's not, I wouldn't say above, but he still feels like he's never been really embraced. Yeah. He's not, I'm
Yeah.
VR, but am I, am I AI? Or like he loves humans so much.
Yeah.
And that humanity drives him a little more than
Yeah.
his own kind, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, I was a little taken aback. I was like, that's a little off.
Oh,
That's-
really?
With how
Yeah.
possessive he is over Kovacs, it's just
And
another
in
thing.
the
It's just
comment
another
he
person he's
made
killing
about
for him.
Izzy or
Seriously.
Lizzie,
well, I guess they were
kind of was
kind of
like
crazy. Yeah, wait.
yeah. When he made the comment about Lizzie too, he was like, "You can bring her over or whatever," and then he was like, "Now I'm real happy with what I'm about to do to you."
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
It did strike me as a little bit weird to think of the AI as completely that divorced from these people that are his
Are
kind,
them.
and then he'd been kind of hanging out with. He seemed to have a camaraderie with them.
Yeah.
So I was a little surprised by that.
That's one of my
Yeah.
favorite layers about the way. That's why you can write so many angles for AI characters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's still that element where they can do human things. They can deviate a little
Yeah.
bit. You know what I mean? And I like that he has his own agenda.
Yeah, and I guess
really do.
technically we knew that they were a little crazy, and that's why people stopped staying at these hotels.
Oh, yeah, a little bit of issues.
Yeah. So I had forgotten that part about it. And then he gets Ava involved, and we have this very interesting scene with Ava in this male body, and so Vernon having to deal with this. What do you guys think about that whole reaction?
again, Poe wins every time. And if you put him in any of those situations, his lines were so good. What was the one
True,
where
like true love.
True love conquers
Conquers
all?
all.
It's like,
Oh, shut up, Poe.
and then Kovacs is just like, okay.
And Kovacs like, I'm not.
He said there were some complications.
Yeah, he's so chill.
Like
about
I'll
it.
say.
But yeah, but did you find like Vernon had no issue? Like I felt like he had issues with like how did you get here?
Yeah,
but he had no
not
issues with
him.
you in the male body.
Like,
yeah.
truly, like true love. You know, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
this is Ava. I love this
Yeah.
woman. You know, her, I'm in love with her consciousness.
You're
Yeah.
in love with
Yeah.
who she is, and
Absolutely.
also like he's been distraught over her the entire time that we've seen him.
So just
so
to see her again.
once he realizes
yeah.
it's really her, I'm sure that is really.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
think
yeah.
it speaks to that whole reality of they've lived all these hundreds of years where people can just change bodies, so it's not
Yeah.
like a thing.
Absolutely.
So as a kid, you probably see people change bodies, genders left
Yeah.
and right, and you're like, okay, cool.
Yeah, and I like that we got kind of primed for this already with the grandma scene that we got earlier with
Yeah.
Ortega.
Yep.
So when this happened, we got to talk about it a little bit, but it clearly was not the focus of what was going
Yeah.
on because there's a lot of stuff
Yeah.
going on.
And I thought it was beautiful when they go to the VR and that whole reunion that they had. What do you guys think of that
Oh,
reunion?
that was. Yes, I love that. That's all it
Lovely.
took for Lizzie to just come back.
yeah.
Just like that,
Yeah.
her family together, and that warm embrace they all shared. And it was, and I know it was a little upset about, how she, turned into like a little killer or whatever. She's a little upset about that.
She's been training in
Yeah.
hyper time. or
Yeah.
something.
yeah,
She's like
Dragon
so
Ball
excited.
Z. So great.
Mom and Dad, look what he got me.
Like,
My
Mommy-
power level is now over
Like,
9,000.
seriously, man, for real. Like mom wasn't happy about that, but he's like, listen, like
Yeah.
yeah.
we're here, we're all together. Like let's.
Yeah.
It was really two stories of family reunions with Kovacs and sister and them, and interestingly enough, like I guess violence kind of healed both
Yeah.
families. Like violence was healing Lizzie, and violence kind of like at least got them through their childhood.
Yeah.
It's very interesting parallels in this sort of new world
agree.
that we're in. But one of the toughest scenes, I guess, was the typical male role of being the douchebag after the night of passion.
Oh, it was brutal.
Yeah, Kovacs had to get Ortega off the trail.
Yeah.
Any way he could, he had to do it. It was brutal. We knew what he was doing, but we still felt for Ortega.
Yeah.
It was
Oh,
like,
But
my
like Ortega's
God.
also a smart girl, where even after she walked away, she was kind of like, something's up.
Yeah, she thought something was up, but she was so
She was
hurt,
so
though.
because there was a
deceptive,
moment
yes.
she almost, to me, questioned herself, where she was like, "Is this why?" Like,
She did what I thought happened between us actually
Yeah.
happen. Yeah, she totally was questioning.
He was
it.
like, have some dignity. She was,
that one was a low blow.
was
I was like, yo.
stop making a scene in public, girl. Take this like a grown woman.
She was like, oh no, you did. That got her to walk away though. She's like, oh.
That was brutal.
yeah, she was like, and that's the line that will do it. I wanted to go ahead and thank you, Griffin T, for joining us in the chat room.
hello.
Hey Griffin.
And for those of you out there listening, we are on iTunes. Please give us 5 stars, rate, subscribe, comment. Do the same thing on YouTube if you're watching on YouTube as well. We do appreciate the likes
we do.
and the love, even the hate. We don't mind the hate.
why not? Bring it on.
We read
bring
it.
it on. Bring it on. We roll with it. And then I guess we also have in episode 2 or episode 8 the big reveal. And I love scenes like this where everyone's invited to the parlor to,
Yep.
and we're
You
gonna
got the
do
clue.
Yep.
Like Clue.
we're gonna get the
Yeah,
who
like
done
Clue,
it.
yeah.
Like
Classic
everyone was there.
Absolutely.
How'd you guys like that scene?
It was cool. It was especially interesting twist on that, classic setup, knowing that he's lying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
front of
seeing where he
everyone.
was going to go with it, because we had no idea how exactly he was going to play out, but just that he was going to be making this threat up. And
Absolutely.
I think he did a great job.
Yeah, like how Sis was up in there, just overseeing everything, just
Right?
making sure everything goes according to plan. You handle business, and then that was kind of cool. And he was kind of like performing for everybody.
Yeah, I love
which
that.
is like the point of it, because you want to convince the whole.
Yes.
He convinced everyone, which is going to convince Bancroft, and he's like,
Which
yeah.
is the biggest thing he wants to do. Get that party.
Yeah, it
Like
took
you
me
need
to,
the audience.
Yeah, it took me back to those old school crime shows, because he's like in Law and Order, like they catch the perp, he's arrested.
Yeah.
But here it was just like, let me tell you how it went down from the beginning.
Well,
Picture
she's
this.
sitting there watching, like, wait.
And she's like, no, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. And we see Miriam really quickly jumping on the bed. Out. Get out.
Yeah, she's like, I
Seriously.
like this.
This is going really well for me. Like just, hey, get out.
Yeah, because right before
Don't say
again
another word.
in the elevator, she's like, "You can leave right now. We got the girls on the. You can leave right now."
You can roll if you want. He's like, you would like me to do that when you with that sultry voice my boy Joel got, man. That boy's voice is lit, man.
Well, yeah.
That boy's voice is lit.
One thing I never got is he doesn't seem like super like you were definitely involved. Like I get this.
Yeah.
He doesn't quite let her know that or reveal it to us that he's like he's been tipped off by this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. I think at this point now he's like, okay, my sister has me. Like I don't even. Now he just wants to make sure Bancroft
Lets him go.
I think before you're right though. Like why he didn't never seem too interested. But
Yeah.
Coming out of the elevator, he don't even care.
Because now at this point it's like you definitely had something to do with this.
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a lead he never really followed up on even after the initial offer.
Because I think at this point, he's still not sure. Well, until, everything happens, I think he's still kind of like, well, I don't know what she had to do with
That's
it.
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
But I did love that scene. Well, before we get to the final scene, let's talk about the fight. The fight was epic. Ortega, walking in and then realizing she's got to fight not 1, not 2, but like 10 railings.
Man,
Naked
listen.
Yeah,
Raylene.
naked Raylene.
But naked Raylene.
Naked.
Her natural
Yo.
birthday suit.
Shout out to your girl, man. She been in the gym. Shout out to the personal trainer. Shout out to her confidence.
Getting ready for that.
Yeah, right. Like
For real.
I mean, like I wonder when she signed on to the
Like,
series.
right.
Had they already
She's
written episode
flipping
8?
to the page and she's like,
Yeah, or did she get that after she signed on? Like, whoa.
She's naked the whole time. You know how movies, you know how long shows take. That was hours, man.
Yeah, of course. Like the entire.
That was the whole day of shooting.
But it was a heck of a scene, and
Yeah.
yeah, again, I'm still shocked that somehow Raylene doesn't come out the winner, given that
I know, well-
she's trained like this her entire natural life, and then the 200 years in the interim.
That's real
Yeah.
talk.
Yeah, so
She still used her brains at the end there just to trick her. Though.
Yeah.
I just like the line where she's like, you know how much money you cost me?
Yeah, that's all she cared about.
she was just like,
You killing some expensive clothes, girl.
Right? It's like more money than Ortega's ever made.
Like ever.
Yeah.
Like, man.
Will ever make.
Seriously.
which is why I wondered, just like can you not stop needle casting? Like one night I said, you know what, let me not do the last 2 clones. Like she's just like
Yeah, just like let him. She's angry though.
because there was at least
yeah.
2. She just
I think it's
immediately
a-
was able to get right to the head.
It's a petty thing. It's like a.
Gotta keep coming to see.
She's like, I got more.
I can
I'm
beat this
sure
girl. I can beat her.
that's not like the only room with her clones. I'm sure she
Yeah.
has a bunch.
Maybe,
of
but I
them.
would have been like, she got me 2 headshots. We're done.
All right, let's
We're gonna go back to nap.
I don't think she's on a clone budget.
Or at least try like the conversation, because the first clone she worked with the conversation. She at least was willing to listen and talk. Delay her.
All right. This time, let's just talk, okay?
And then of course we have the self reveal, or that moment where he's realizing Quellcrest is there, and she kind of lets him know that the truth is interwoven in what he's been finding. What did you guys think about what was going on in his own mind in discovering this?
What she says is, do you realize what truth you crafted your lie from?
Which means he
Nice.
does realize it because she's really
She's his
his.
subconscious.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah, what do you
Yeah.
guys think of that revelation? And how, like, I mean, I guess we'll do that a little bit later, but what do you think of the revelation?
These final 2 episodes are gonna be very, very interesting.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
They're setting it up really well. I like that. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Like I have no idea how it's gonna end.
I like
right
that
now.
feeling. I really do, because everyone's like, everything's predictable nowadays. I like that. I don't know how they're gonna pull
But
this off.
technically, is there anything to pull off? Because he just walks
Like I want
away.
to know
He's
what
free.
really actually
deported.
happened. Like what happened to Lizzie. I don't know yet.
Yeah.
I don't know like how that all, and then how the blonde girl in
Mary
the
Lou
beginning.
Henchey?
Yeah, how
Yeah.
she ties
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
So we need to know
What else?
answers to that. There's 3. Is there another girl I'm thinking of?
No, we'll just Bancroft's
Oh, and
murder.
what actually happened
Yeah.
to Riker?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
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 I'm
Oh,
excited.
and we know what
Well,
happened
we
to
know
Riker.
what. Yeah, that's true. But like how it ends out, if Bancroft like, yeah, I don't.
But at
I feel
this
like it should all
stage-
tie in.
But
in
at
the
this
end.
stage, he can literally just walk away and go live with his sister. Maybe
he's
see her on the
not.
holidays because he got to,
Yeah,
got to get over
they
some
got
stuff.
some issues they got to
Yeah. We need like 50
But there's no
to
way
100
he
years.
does.
Like, he got his money, got his part, and you're right. He could just, wash his hands and everything, walk
but
away.
he won't.
Oh, no, not Takeshi.
What did you guys think about Prescott? Because even though she was framed, I was actually really happy about this scene.
Yeah, she seems like a terrible human. So I was
Yeah.
kind of like, yeah.
And it's funny you say that. It was good to see some humanity in her for once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When your life's on the line, man, he's like, you know what? No, we're not gonna take
Yeah, I don't
no
think
jail
she
time for her.
deserved that,
Yeah.
Let's destroy her.
And she was so thankful. I was like, Prescott, you must know better than this. Like you've been around this dude.
Yeah.
You know he's
You've been
not
around the
just
block.
gonna-
He just got here 5 seconds ago. You better throw me in the gutter.
But that was the perfect punishment for her. Like,
yeah.
Oh,
no,
God, it
don't
was.
send her to jail. You just send her down with all the other people.
Yeah.
Naked and afraid.
Yeah.
So she can just be alive for as long as possible.
She was terrified. She's like, no, just destack me. I don't want anything else.
Wow, man.
So sad.
It was though. For a little bit, you feel bad.
For like, but yeah, she deserves it. Definitely deserves it. And I guess Takeshi, he had no problem, I guess, setting her up even in this moment. So he is.
He must have went through like a list in his
Just
head,
what-
and
yeah.
he was like, "Who deserves it? Like, who do I
What you
dislike
guys-
the most?"
That's amazing, like what you guys are saying, because like he was like he could have put it on a lot of people.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, we'll give it to her.
Because he
And
had
you
a moral quandary at one
Wait,
point
wasn't
about.
a big thing with her blonde hair when they were at that? Is kind of the reason he spun it that way because it worked the best with her. So
that's-
I guess he couldn't really just pick any. She
Touche.
worked with the storyline.
Touche.
Yeah, but he had that moral quandary of pinning something on someone
Yes.
who's innocent.
And so did his team. They were like, I don't want to be her. I don't
then-
want to like do the things she's doing.
Them
while
are
they're
like
doing
her or us though. You know,
Yeah.
and it comes to that down to that dilemma, and you're like, most people are like, we're gonna take care of ourselves.
yeah,
Which is what Vernon said, yeah.
Such interesting episode. Just so excited for what's coming. Did you guys have some predictions for what we might see in 9 and 10?
I don't,
I'm never ready for that.
no.
Ever.
I want to see Lizzie
Not
get
working.
out of the, like, do something.
Well, she looks like she's about
yeah,
to be a
I
fighting
want to
machine.
see her use these skills. Like,
She has to
I
get
want to
out.
see her up to bat with, like, some real people, and I want to see her conquer some stuff. I just
what-
want to see her do something with all these skills she has.
I want. Can we get an actual theory of the case? Because I think we know enough
That's
now to
true.
actually weave a theory about who killed who. Especially, obviously, with Miriam clearly
I don't
involved.
know. I still don't think Miriam was the one that, like, pulled the trigger on him,
No.
but I think she's involved in some way or in some version of it.
Yeah, whether she gave like access or
Or
like, just some kind
or
of
she like
intel
knows
or-
what happened, or maybe she had something to do with like Mary Lou Hunchy, or I just like she's involved somehow, but I don't think she's the one that pulled the trigger.
Do you think she killed Mary Lou Henry?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. She did something
I'm
though.
with you,
She's
yeah.
definitely guilty of something.
She's guilty of something.
Yeah.
I mean? And,
Maybe that could be. Maybe she killed. Maybe she found out her husband was sleeping with her, and
Oh,
I don't know.
As we're talking this out, I'm getting a really
Wheels
interesting
wheels
theory.
turning,
Yeah, my
Shaka.
wheels are turning now.
I don't know. Like I said, I'm curious to see what's going on with Bancroft.
Yeah.
I want to see how much, if Ray is the reason why, he died. But I know she's involved in some capacity. Like I said, I'm genuinely gonna be shocked when I watch these. I got nothing, Shaka.
I can't wait to
I got
find out.
nothing.
Did you have predictions before
what do you-
you?
so what's
Did
going
you
on?
have thoughts before you saw the last two episodes?
And when you write.
No, yeah. Don't tell us if you're right or not.
I did have an idea about what was going to happen.
And did it happen? How about you tell us?
Yeah,
that?
I mean, kinda. Not exact. The details were different, but I had an early hypothesis of what happened, and it was mostly right.
When you say early, you mean early?
How early we talking?
Before
like,
episode 7 and 8?
Episode. Like 5,
Look
6.
at you.
Oh my
Jesus
God!
Yeah, I mean,
In episode
only
5 and 6, it was like-
about
Got Columbo up in
only
there.
about
Columbo.
the Bancroft thing specifically.
Okay.
Because I
Okay.
didn't see any of the sister stuff, and that
Oh yeah, that.
changed a lot of how the stuff plays out. Yeah, I'm excited for you guys to see it, so then I can
ready
talk
to.
unrestricted.
Yeah.
next
Yeah.
week, so.
After that, it's over. After that, you are unhinged. You are unchanged.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a
You
lot
can
of
speak your mind.
yeah.
My theory.
I don't want to even react to anything.
I think Miriam killed Mary Lou Henry.
I like that.
Yeah.
Because remember, Mary Lou Henry looks
She
like.
falls out of the sky.
And she
so-
also fits the MO of the woman that he gets violent with and likes to like abuse.
Yeah,
and
we gotta
da-da-da-da-da.
remember he does like the blondes that look like his
So
wife.
I think Mary Lou Henry. I mean, I think she killed
She's
Mary Lou Henry.
involved.
I think Bancroft saw it, knew about it somehow.
Nice.
Was gonna. I don't know if he was gonna reveal it purposely, but either way, him knowing about it threatened her freedom, and I think
Interesting.
she tried to have him killed so that he would no longer remember or know about the
Interesting.
murder of Mary Lou Henry.
I can dig it.
And somehow they got Raylene involved in all
Don't
of
look
it.
at me.
And maybe she hired
like
Raylene.
Lizzie and
It's
Mary
so
Lou
hard
and his
not to
murder,
say
it's all
anything
tied
right
in.
now. Oh,
It's got
connected.
yes.
But the one thing is, how
Everything
did
is
she?
connected.
Yes.
Just
That's
how
what I
did
was
they
saying.
know to reach out to Raylene? Like, that's the one thing I'm a little unsure of.
Like, didn't Raylene just do that on her own? She saw like a perfect scenario to get him back.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Raylene gets in her own.
Yeah.
She gets Miriam to kill
so like
Mary Lou
whatever
Henry.
happens between them and his murder, Raylene was just like perfect opportunity for me to come in and get my envoy brother stack up.
Or she orchestrated all of it, and she got Miriam to kill Mary Lou Henry
I think that's way maybe.
and-
I thought it was just
When
like a perfect
you-
coincidence.
Finish this show. If you go back and do a rewatch, which I highly suggest you do, at the end of episode 8, you realize that everything you need to know is in front of you.
That's crazy.
That's
Excited.
I mean, and that was the sense I got at this point because
you're feeling
they
that
gave
there's-
you so much
Yeah.
that you were like, okay, now we have the
Something's
tools to
right.
put it all together.
Now stick it together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because Raylene goes after Bancroft specifically because she's like, I know he's got the power to
Straight up.
get you out of here.
She was like,
So I think she orchestrated all of it. I think she got in the inner circle and she orchestrated that, and then it just fell from there.
I'm excited. I'll be watching. I'll be watching.
My only question is,
I'm
if
so
she can do
confused.
all that, why couldn't she just get the brother out directly and use her
Yeah.
money and use her power,
That's true.
influence?
I'm excited.
That's
to
why I gotta.
watch.
I'm not gotta watch
Two.
it. Now I gotta watch it tonight, man.
Yeah.
Well,
hell is Bancroft just-
Bancroft is more powerful meth than she is.
Yes, he's
I need to know more about this world because he just does. He notarizes the pardon. Wait, can you do that?
See your boy.
He just did the nap.
With the regular notary stamp. Yo, shout out to the notaries, man. You are gonna be around forever. He was like, it was not like a laser or a hologram.
it was
like,
just. Chink, chink. I was like, oh.
I said to say, I couldn't believe it.
Bancroft actually was a notary first.
That was
That's how
his
he started his
original
original
job.
I cannot
business.
believe he put that relic on that paper.
But we did discover one thing that Bancroft will let you go. I thought that was something that was.
I was skeptical, yeah, but
Yeah.
he was like,
Oh.
"You did it, bye."
He was
Yeah.
like, that was the deal. That was Those little terms.
He was like, don't talk
Even
shit.
Kovacs was like,
Well, it was
so
definitely
true.
an answer he was happy with.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what he was looking to be
That was
satisfied.
a big influencer on.
I like what he said. They don't talk. I was
Yeah, 'cause he was
Like if he would have came in there and been like, "You killed yourself," he would have been like, "That's it."
Get out. Takeshi's like, pleasure doing business.
Man, yeah, what an incredible 2 episodes.
Love it.
So much here. Just we could talk endlessly. I actually really like the visuals in episode 7.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Just the forest and
There's
with
a
the
big
tree of
ash
life.
and
We see
everything,
the
the tree
tree
of
that
life.
he eventually sees in the Bancrofts.
Beautiful stuff.
So I love just the way they connected it, and like the visuals were amazing. It was just nice
Yes.
to be in a different world.
Were you happy you finally got Kelcrest too?
I was happy to see her
You
live.
saw
I
her.
was really disappointed to I guess I have no choice but to believe there's no
That
way.
she's
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was my next question. Do you still think she's gonna come
coming?
back?
Is she in VR somewhere?
He's like, maybe there's still
kept
hope.
saying she's
He's
gonna
like,
come back,
I have
and I'm
a
like,
little hope. No,
Oh,
she's
because you
not.
knew the entire time, like you see the stack get blown.
But you're still like, there could be a chance.
I mean, and I think, like what I did say was that they always give us the payoff, and I think we
Yeah.
got the payoff of getting to see her in action.
Oh
Yeah.
my
and getting
God,
to
yeah.
be with him. So we did get the payoff, but I was hoping she'd be alive, like currently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good. What would be the payoff moment for 9 and 10? That's a prediction. Like, how could they pay us off the best? You know what I mean?
It's like everything.
Just the
wrapped-
connections.
Yeah, the
It's
connections.
pulling
I
everything
think
together.
that's the whole time I'm gonna be like, what?
Yeah.
So yeah, normally I've been watching these episodes, like rewatching them again before, right before we come on.
Right,
I'm
right.
probably watching these tonight. 'Cause
Yeah, I gotta watch.
need
I
to
gotta
know.
watch
Yeah,
season
I
two.
know.
I do.
I need to know.
Yeah.
I just need Takeshi to ride off like a noble steed off in the sunset on a real horse, like a pony, and just live happily ever
I
after.
want him to get his body
but
back.
it's a person in the.
I kind of want him to get.
Yeah.
I want him to get his body back, but will he get his body
yeah,
back?
yeah, I want to see Takeshi. Yeah, I want him to turn
what
back
body?
Japanese.
Well, we know they already cloned his body one time,
The
put
first
Demi in
one,
it, so we
the
figured.
child body.
No, his real adult body from
why
when he
not?
was back in the day.
The Carnage one's all messed up now.
I mean, they still have the material. They can make another clone.
Make another
And the
clone.
sisters got money.
We
The
don't know
sisters
what the
got money.
clone database is like. You know, he made it seem like it was a one of a kind.
I like one of a kind Takeshi.
Huh. I have to go back and listen to that episode. 'Cause it seemed like
We'll
some
go
point.
back and analyze. Be specific.
Yeah, because I feel like they're
I
definitely.
don't want him.
I think there'll be a moral dilemma at some point.
Yeah.
When he's gonna be like, do I stay in this body for you,
Or do I go?
or do I go to the body
Yeah.
that
I
is
think
mine?
he's gonna just be in a new body if they do another one.
Oh, like
Just a new body
season two.
entirely. Yeah.
Yeah,
Ah,
maybe.
Interesting.
maybe not.
That's another cool thing about
They
the show.
could
Though. You can
definitely-
always get another actor. That's what's kind of
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah,
yeah.
there's
Joel
no
Kinnaman
saying
is
who you
awesome,
have.
though.
Yeah.
No, we talked about. You know how much I
I
love
wouldn't be
Joel.
Joel
happy
Kinnaman's
to
like
lose
make this a
him.
3-year. Like, how
Seriously.
long
You
is
know,
his
switch
contract?
bodies, but then now Riker is a character.
That's
So
true.
cool.
like that.
Joel's like, keep me on the payroll.
Right, please.
Yeah, they really can switch. Yeah, they can switch it.
That's
actors
I love
that.
super easily.
That's really cool.
Sort of like American Horror Story, but like
But
they
like-
actually have
Yeah.
a scientific reason to.
Story.
Like Takeshi Kovacs.
It's like Doctor
yes.
Who, but anybody, everyone on the cast.
It's true though. Needle casting and all that good stuff.
So interested. Again, guys, thank you for joining us. We've been having a ball. We will be back next week with episodes 9 and 10. My name is Shaka Smith. You guys can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Shaka Strong.
What's up, nerds? Nate Miller here. You can find me on all social media at DogLikeNate.
All right, it's your boy. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Evan T. Mack.
And I'm Krista, and you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Krista Flentje.
We will see you guys next week.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.